Okay, good day students, how are you all? So once again we meet after the short break. Looks like we will meet up in person very soon because I think arrangements have been made for Form 5 students to go back to school. Just have to wait for the official announcement. So once you are in school, I think we are in a better environment to get these lessons done in more effective way, right? Whatever it is in person, of course it is you cannot match lah, rather than seeing it in video. All right. So hope and pray for the best that we will meet in school very soon. Okay, so whatever it is, still to wait until then, we have to still conduct our lesson through this YouTube platform, right? And so we have been following for the past 13 lessons in videos. So I hope you all are following, and so after this short break, I think you are more prepared and more ready to follow today's lesson. Okay, what we are going to see is today is another concept. It's rather another short lesson, okay, to teach you a new concept about this electromagnetism. Okay, what we did in the last class was about motor, how a motor works, and we learned about catapult field, right? How the resultant field give you a catapult force, right, for a motor to rotate. And then from there we learn Fleming left-hand rule, okay, where which represent current, and this finger, middle finger, represent current. The pointing finger, okay, the first finger shows the direction of magnetic field, and the thumb indicate the direction of the force, okay. And how we apply this to discuss about the function of a motor, and I'm sure I have done some questions, the objective and structure. I've given you the answers also, so I'm sure now you are very clear. Okay, today what we are going to learn is a bit a different concept, alright, but still to do with electromagnetism. Okay, if you look at the title, alright, this electromagnetic induction. Induction means you induce something, right? You induce pain, you pinch, you induce pain. So here electromagnetic induction means you want to induce current, okay? So earlier we used current to generate a force so the motor can rotate, alright? So for today's lesson, we are going to see how are we going to produce current, because it's quite an important process, because generally before this invention, we only get current from battery, right, dry cell. Right, so dry cell you cannot produce a lot of current because it's limited, and also it's a direct current. Okay, and most of the electrical appliances, some they're using direct current, and some of it are using alternating current. Okay, so what we are going to see eventually is producing current, but this current is also known as induction current. Okay, right. So you can focus on page 72 to 75. But I'm not going to cover until page 75 for today, because it's involving another idea. Basically, the direction of current that is more focused on that page 75. Right. So today what we are going to see is, look at the title and the subtitle: Production of an electric current by changing magnetic field. That means when you change a magnetic field, it doesn't mean that you use a strong magnet, big magnet. Of course, that also you change the magnetic field. Here, changing the magnetic field means you have a conductor. This is a conductor, right? Conductor, a wire, simply a wire, right? Simply a metal wire, alright? And this wire, when you cut the field, this is a pair of magnets. A pair of magnet, north and south. When you cut the magnetic field, that is known as changing magnetic field. That means the conductor experiencing a change of magnetic field. Suppose these are two magnets you put in a pair opposite each other in the opposite pole. Alright, this is a conductor. So you cut the field. When you do that, this conductor will induce current. That means the electron inside the conductor start moving, alright, when it experiences a cutting of the magnetic field in between a pair of magnets, right? So that's how the current is induced. So please read up this part. There is a thing in notes here, they have explained in detail. Alright, so this is a straight conductor. Straight conductor, when you cut the magnetic field, it induces current in this conductor. Okay. So another way of changing the field is, instead of using a straight wire, you can use a solenoid. Solenoid means a coil. Right, coil. So when you push in the magnet, you see there is a magnetic field. So this magnetic field is getting now cut by this solenoid. Either you move, so we call it is actually a relative motion. As long as you can cut the flux, the magnetic field in the conductor, it will induce current. What I mean here is, it's relative motion. Relative motion means either you move the magnet, you have the conductor, you move the magnet, or you make the magnet static and you move the conductor. So either way you are cutting the flux, so you induce current. And over here is the same also. Whether you move the magnet in to the solenoid, in and out, or you hold the magnet and you move the solenoid in and out, into the and out of the magnet. Both way you can induce current. Okay, now the question comes here, two things you have to know. What is the direction of the current induced? That's what they like to ask. Okay, what is the direction of current induced? It is in the solenoid, in the straight wire, or in the solenoid. Okay, since the structure is different, so we can use Fleming right-hand rule. That's what we are going to learn today. Okay, we can use Fleming right-hand rule to determine the direction of current. And whereas over here in solenoid, we can't use Fleming right-hand rule, but instead we use Lenz law. Okay, Lenz law is a bit abstract. I will teach that in the next class. Since I said this is a very, very short lesson, so I just, in fact after the break, so I don't want to have a long lesson, so just to get moving. So today we learn a very simple concept using or the electromagnetic induction and also the Fleming right-hand rule. How to apply the Fleming right-hand rule. Take note, this is right-hand rule. Earlier we learned for motor is Fleming left-hand rule. Left-hand rule. This is right-hand rule. So do not confuse. Fleming left-hand rule is for motor, right? Whereas Fleming right-hand rule is for inducing current, for generator. The two things. Okay, so usually students get confused. So first thing, when you read a question about electromagnetic topic, you must first very clearly know what they are talking about. Are they talking about motion using current, or are they talking about inducing current in a magnet? Alright, because structure wise both are same. Like over here, instead of galvanometer, you see here I put a galvanometer because you want to measure the current and also we want to know the direction of current. This is known as zero center galvanometer. Okay, galvanometer. Okay, galvanometer. So galvanometer is usually used for measuring magnitude and more importantly the direction of current. You can see the zero here. So when you move in one particular direction upwards, the needle will move in one particular direction. We move downward, the needle will move the other direction. That is actually showing the change in the direction of current. If you use just a ammeter also measuring current, right? But ammeter is not zero center. Ammeter, the symbol here is A, right? And here is G. So ammeter, the zero is in the one side. Okay? So it only measures direction in one particular direction and it is measuring actually the magnitude. Whereas galvanometer, direction more importantly, and magnitude, yes, because this galvanometer is a very, very sensitive device to measure a small magnitude of current, like microamp. Very little current, it's very sensitive to capture. If you use ammeter is actually to measure high current. So other than that, of course you can use a milliammeter or microammeter, also possible to do, but we want to know the direction, so that's why you use galvanometer. So galvanometer is something like a microammeter but the 0 is in the middle. So that is actually to measure the direction of current. Okay, so first part we are going to see how the direction of current is induced in this manner. Alright, so whenever you cut the flux, there is current induced. Okay, so I told you two parts. One is direction, which you are going to see now, and then magnitude. Direction of current we can use Fleming right hand rule. Okay, whereas magnitude of current, basically what are the things you can modify here in order to get a large quantity of current. Okay, so that is quite a simple thing, but let us see the Fleming's left hand and right hand rule first. Okay, so when you have a magnet here, a pair of magnets, alright, first we have to use current, so there must be a change in the magnetic flux by the conductor. Alright, so the direction of current is actually, we are talking about in between the magnetic field, not over here. Of course, the current goes here, you will see the direction, but we see the direction here either this way or the other way. Alright, so first what we do, if you move up and down, you are cutting the flux. Alright, so if you look at page 73, okay, page 73, here they show you, page 73, yeah, page 73, there they show you two ways. One is moving up and down, the other moving parallel to the flux. So if you move up and down, vertical to the flux, perpendicular to the flux, you are cutting the flux. But if you move this way, parallel to the flux, you are not cutting the flux. Okay, you are moving along the flux. So therefore, there is no current induced. Current is not induced. Only when you move perpendicular to the flux, current is induced. So that you must know first. You are cutting the flux because they say changing magnetic field. If you move along, you are not changing the magnetic field for the conductor. So that you must be very clear. Okay, now let us go to the second part and the last part of today's lesson. The Fleming's right hand rule, how we apply. Okay. So again the same quantities are represented by the fingers as you use for Fleming left hand rule. This is Fleming right hand rule. So the thumb shows the direction of motion of the conductor in the magnetic field, like over here. Alright, it's moving up and down. Alright, and then the magnetic field is the first finger. Alright, moving up and down. So moving upwards, the magnetic field is from north to south, and then you can see the direction of current this way. Alright, so if the conductor moves downward, the magnetic field never changes. The conductor moves downward, the direction of current goes into the pole. So you can see no change in the magnetic field, the direction of the pole, just change in the direction of the motion of the conductor, so the direction of current can be changed. If you move along like this, the conductor or parallel, you are not going to cut the flux, so therefore there is no induction of current. Okay, the current is only induced up and down when you cut the flux. Alright? Okay, so this is how you use Fleming left hand rule. So you know the direction of motion of the conductor, you know the direction of the magnetic field, so you can determine the direction of current. Okay, so that's what you have to know. Whereas over here, when you move the flux in and out, the flux is also getting cut by the coil, so the coil now induces current. Okay, so the direction of the current induced, whether it is clockwise or anti-clockwise, is mentioned by Lenz law. Okay, so Lenz law will tell you how to determine the direction of current in a solenoid. Okay, so remember, so direction, this is for direction of current for straight wire, this is direction of current for solenoid. Both are talking about direction because the structure of the wire, one is straight, one is coiled, so we use different set of rules to explain the direction of current which we want to know. Okay, that's all. So that's it. Okay, so the second part and the last part we want to know is the magnitude of induced current. How you want to induce a larger quantity of current? Number one, of course, you use stronger field. That means when you use more stronger field, as I told you, we use a symbol B, flux, the intensity of the flux. or the density of the flux, B. So greater flux, more current induced. That means you use stronger magnet, you get more current. Number 1. Number 2, the speed you are using. Okay, so if you cut very fast, that means the rate of cutting flux. The speed, this is rate of cutting flux. If you cut the flux very fast, you induce larger magnitude of current. Okay, number 2. And number 3 is, of course, you use a good conductor. Instead of single wire, you use many straight wires, which is cutting. So that means when you use more wires, more rate of cutting, so more current induced. So number of turns. So these are the 3 things that we can change to change the magnitude of current. Okay, to change the magnitude of current. So 1 is direction of current, Fleming right hand rule. Number 2 is the magnitude of current. You change the stronger magnet, you use a stronger, more wires, and you use higher speed. You cut it very fast. When you cut it very fast, you use more current. Okay. So these are the things that you have to know for today's lesson. So it's a rather short lesson, as I told you. Alright. So all these I explained at page 74 until page 74. At the bottom of page 74, they are already talking about Land's law, which I will discuss in the other class. Okay. So later, the later part, we'll see how a generator works inducing current. This is a simple way. This one, it's not practical to produce current for us to use, right? It cannot be moving between magnet to induce current and use the current. Okay. So we have like a structure like a generator, or it looks more similar to a motor, alright, which induce current continuously. Alright. So that one we will discuss in following lessons. Okay. So the next lesson we will see Land's law. So to conclude, today we learn about how to induce current. We call it electromagnetic induction. Rather than using current. Using current, you use current to produce motion. This is, you use motion to produce current, a reverse process. Okay. So electromagnetic inductions, that ends the today's lesson. So please read up. I am not giving you any questions. Alright, still early. So once we learn the Land's law, then we can talk about questions. So with that, it ends today's lesson. So please keep in touch. Probably once you come back to school, or if the opening is delayed, then we'll be doing maybe a Zoom or Google live classroom, right? Online classes. Okay. So that I have some technical problems. So if I'm prepared for that, then I'll let you know that we'll be doing online classes. Right? Probably I think we have to do for Form 4, because I think Form 4 will come much later than you all. So for the start, we only are having Form 5 classes probably. Okay. Whatever it is, please wait for official announcements. Who's supposed to go to school and on which classes or which forms supposed to go to school. I'm not in a position here to tell you. So we'll meet in the next class. Till then, have a nice day. Please revise your work as consistent, because now the whole scenario has changed. It's no more like those days. So after this COVID, everything is already going to be changed, and your lessons, your exam also is going to be very late next year. Whatever it is, we will try our best to give you the best knowledge that you need to know for Form 5, so that you can excel. And Form 5 exam is very important. So till then we meet up. So have a nice day. Then please share with your friends. Thank you very much. Bye.